Gotham. The city bled darkness, a festering wound that never healed. I'd seen my share of rotten cities. New York had its fair slice of hell, but Gotham, it was a whole new level of broken. The criminals were the same, only the masks were different. Mobsters, dealers, crooked cops, they were all part of the same machine, grinding the bones of the innocent into dust. Just like always, I was here because of a whisper. A new drug, something bigger than the usual street junk, and it had New York written all over it. The kind of poison that doesn't just kill you, it strips away your soul first. My soul was already gone, taken the night my family died, but I wasn't ready to let someone else pull that trigger. Painkillers dulled the ache in my bones, but they couldn't drown out the ghosts in my head. Michelle, the baby. They were always with me. Reminders that no matter how much blood I spilled, I'd never wash away the stains. This wasn't about redemption. It was about justice, or something close enough to keep me breathing. I followed the trail to Gotham, and here I was, back in the dirt. I wasn't expecting much, just another dead end with a side of gunfire. What I wasn't expecting was him. The Bat. The rain pounded against the rusted roof of the warehouse like 1,000 impatient fists. The guy I was shaking down was more sweat than man, his eyes darting like rats in a cage. He knew something, and I was going to get it out of him, one way or another. Who's running the operation? I growled, pulling him closer by his collar. Talk, or I swear I'll. A shadow fell over us. Not mine. Something bigger, darker, and much more dangerous.
You'll do nothing.
Came a voice that could have been made of gravel and nightmares. I looked up, and there he was. The man. The myth. Gotham's freak show in a cape. You're interrupting, I said, not letting go of the thug. I'm working here.
So am I.
Batman said, stepping closer. His boots barely made a sound, but the weight of him was like a storm closing in. He wasn't here to chat. Neither was I. I dropped the thug like a bad habit. He wasn't going anywhere with the fear of God, and the bat, strangling him. Batman and I stood across from each other, two predators eyeing the same prey.
What's a guy like you doing in Gotham?
Batman asked, his voice low but sharp.
You're not here for sightseeing.
Vacation's over, I said, wiping the rain from my face. Your city's got a new problem. One that started in mine. I could feel his eyes burning through that mask of his, sizing me up, deciding whether to throw me through the nearest wall. I didn't have time for a showdown, but I wasn't backing down either.
I know who you are, Payne. Max Payne. You've got a reputation.
I laughed, bitter. And you don't. What do they call you again? The Dark Knight? What is this, some kind of medieval fairy tale? His eyes narrowed.
You've killed more than you've saved.
And how's that any different from what you do? You just leave them breathing a little longer. I stepped closer, our faces inches apart. You think you're better than me because you've got rules.
I have a code.
He said, voice hard as steel.
You don't.
And look where that's gotten you. I glanced around the decrepit warehouse, the stench of rot heavy in the air. Your city's a corpse. You just don't have the guts to admit it. It wasn't the first time I'd stared down death. But this was different. Batman wasn't just a man in a suit, he was something else. Like me, he carried the weight of a world that never loved him back. Only difference was, he still believed in hope. I gave up on that a long time ago. Still, he didn't attack. And I didn't shoot. We were after the same thing. Information. Answers. And the bastards who thought they could play God with people's lives. It wasn't about right or wrong, it was about the hunt. The thug wasn't talking. Not after Batman had his turn with him. We had what we needed, a name, a location, and a whole lot of bad memories about to surface. A new syndicate, a group that had its hands in both Gotham and New York, was pushing a drug that made Valkyr look like aspirin. The drug was twisted, part chemical, part psychological, designed to break a person before it killed them. And at the center of it all, a familiar name. One that tied us both together, Vinny Gugnitti. Gugnitti, still breathing after all this time. It was like a bad dream that never ended. But this time, I wasn't alone. We worked the streets together. Batman didn't talk much, and that was fine by me. His fists did most of the talking. Mine just filled in the gaps with bullets. The whole city was in on this, cops, politicians, you name it. Gotham's rotten heart beat the same as New York's. I didn't need a bat signal to see that. We found Gugnitti holed up in an abandoned tower. The rain didn't let up, but neither did we. I kicked in the door, Batman followed like a shadow. The fight was ugly, gunfire, fists, screams echoing through the empty halls. Batman was precision, a master of control. I was chaos, the storm in the eye of the hurricane. Together, we tore through Gugnitti's goons like they were made of paper. Gugnitti lay on the floor, gasping, bleeding. I pointed my gun at his head, finger itching on the trigger. Batman's hand gripped my arm, tight, pulling me back from the edge.
No.
He growled.
Not like this.
I looked into Gugnitti's eyes, the same fear, the same pathetic cowardice I'd seen 1,000 times before. I wanted to end it. End him. But Batman's grip held me in place, a reminder of the line I'd crossed too many times.
Justice.
Batman said.
Not vengeance.
I stared at him, the man who thought he could still save the world, and maybe, for a second, I believed him. The gun lowered. I left Gotham that night, the rain still falling like the city's tears. The Bat? He stayed behind, still fighting his war, still believing in the lie of justice. Me? I'm a different kind of shadow. I'll keep moving, keep hunting. Gotham's darkness was just a mirror to my own. And in the end, maybe that's all we are, shadows in a world that's forgotten how to see the light.